How do you know when it is the right time to reinvent yourself? How do you know when it is time to make a change? I guess for me, a clear sign of change was when If you don't know who I am already, my name is Wilson, and I am the host on the Wholesome Rave podcast. This topic, we're going to dive really deeply into how you can create a new life for yourself, how you can start over even if it seems almost impossible. Basically, like reinventing yourself and trying to find ways that you can fulfill your dreams and at the same time do the things that you love. Maybe you want to start a new job, maybe you want to take on a new hobby, maybe you find yourself thinking about how you can relocate and start afresh and maybe give yourself a new identity, but you feel like an imposter. You find it difficult to figure out what it is that you really want to do for yourself. A few years ago, I didn't really have the right person to talk about things with, and I didn't really have the right mindset to approach like rebranding myself, finding a new identity and all of that stuff. That's what we're going to be unraveling today. Is it harder to start over? Is it harder to create a new life for yourself? Sometimes you might be in a place where your environment does not support your growth. People around you do not support your growth or understand what it is that you imagine for yourself. And I know how difficult that can be, trying to prove to the world and to yourself that you could be much more than you are. I feel like there are certain people who actually find it very difficult to speak about such things, and I honestly do feel like sharing my story on here can inspire somebody to recreate or rebrand themselves completely from the scratch. So if you're one of those people and you feel this way every single time, I advise you to stick around, watch this video to the end. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. It really does help the channel a lot. So let's move on. And in order to create a life that you truly want and truly desire, in order to start all over and completely reinvent yourself, there are certain questions you need to ask yourself. Ask yourself questions like, how do you know when it is the right time to reinvent yourself? How do you know when it is time to make a change? How can one realize that remaining in the same place that they are 5 years ago is definitely not going to help them build that dream life that they want for themselves and become that person that they could be proud of in the next 10 years. So how do you know when it is the right time to make a change in your life? So the first way to know is when you no longer start to feel inspired to work. This is one of the biggest signs that change is required in your life. When you start to lose your creative energy, when you start to lose your creative spark, when your environment no longer supports your ideas. And why do I say this? I say this because most of the time when you start to lose your inspiration and when you start to lose the energy to work, it's usually a clear sign that your energy levels is constantly getting depleted. And this could mean that your environment holds a lot of negative energy, or maybe there is a power struggle between the energy that you're putting out and the energy that you're receiving from your environment. And this is why growth can be nurtured. It doesn't matter where you find yourself. I guess for me, a clear sign of change was when I realized that every time I wanted to film videos in my room, I always felt some unnecessary amount of pressure and some just level of anxiety. And now it's much different. I think I have to nail the timings, like when I have to film, so it's much quieter. But aside from that, I'm just like really feeling this and loving this. It's so freaking cool. So let's just get right into the next one. Like, I just keep talking and talking. Another clear sign that you need to make a change in your life is when you start feeling fear. Fear is a good indication of something that needs your attention. Whenever you feel fear, it's a sign that you need to go harder in your pursuit of like happiness or finding that dream life. Because when you feel fear, it challenges you to grow. I mean, if you're doing something and you are not getting the oh my gosh moments, then you're actually not pushing yourself far enough. You're not pushing yourself hard enough. What do I mean by having oh my gosh moment? Oh my gosh moments are basically moments where you do something and you actually can't believe that you did that particular thing. You're surprised to know that you're capable of doing something like that. Those are oh my gosh moments. You need to look out for these moments, because these are moments that help you realize that there is actually more under the surface, if only you're able to avoid feeling crippled and paralyzed by fear and just take actions on your dreams and take actions on your goal and just make that jump. It doesn't matter. I've tried so many different things in the past. I have tried blogging, written an ebook, tried speaking, or I remember one time when I was in my blogging era, I basically woke up every morning, wrote my blog post and got those posts out. I was also working on an ebook at that time. But back then on Pinterest, I read all these blogs. I was seeing people do these numbers and I wanted that for myself. Back then it was like the blogging, how to make money blogging scenes back then. So I hopped right on it. I was writing this blog post and I was doing so well, and one day I woke up and it was insane the number of views I was getting. I couldn't believe that I got those views on my blog post. I really couldn't believe. Those moments, now that I think back at it, those moments was like one of my oh my gosh moments, because I had been blogging every day for 6 months. I wasn't getting as much views, and then suddenly one morning I wake up, log into my dashboard, and I see that overnight I have gotten thousands of blog views on one, or I think multiple blog posts. And it was just a shocking moment for me. And that moment, I think, shaped my idea of like online business, because I never thought for one day that I could make money as 19, 20 years old in my dorm room. I never for once imagined that I could wake up overnight and see something that I have been putting time and effort into suddenly blow up and suddenly start getting the recognition that it deserved. So this was a turning point for me. Why I share this story with you is that having this oh my gosh moment can be really life-changing. For me, it changed my whole perspective on making money online, and for the first time in a long time I had a clear knowledge of how it worked, and I knew that it was possible because I was seeing the numbers and I was seeing the money rolling in. So this really changed my whole entire perspective online, and that is why till this day I still pick up my camera. It doesn't matter who's watching it. It doesn't matter if I'm getting 10 views from one video. I'm still like, I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I'm not afraid to make a move. I'm not afraid to show or share the things that I know, because I never know who's watching. I never know who this video could be helpful to, and for that reason I know that I'm living out my purpose and I know that I'm living out my dreams. And one of the questions that I feel like everybody needs to ask themselves at least once in their lifetime is, ask yourself a question: if you were to die right now if you were to die right now, would you be okay with the things that you didn't try? If that answer is no, then you need to go out there, try new things, get new experiences, make new friends, because this is what is going to shape your entire mindset. This is going to show you another side of the world that the real eyes cannot see. It's more like your subconscious. It's going to show you a deeper aspect of what life is, the aspect that connects to your inner self, an aspect that connects to your whole being. I ask myself this question every single time. It's like a rain check I do on myself, because when I find myself like barely making any impact, wasting my time on stuff that does not in any way help me achieve the dream that I want for myself, I always get right back to work. Another great question to ask yourself is, what is it that keeps me up at night? What is it that I am constantly being reminded of? Because that right there is a sign that you need to get started doing that thing. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it is that person you keep thinking about, make that move. If it is that job that needs changing, that ebook that you need to have written, doesn't matter what it is, but whatever gets you up at night, whatever keeps you up at night is a clear message from your inner self, and it is basically just your intuition pointing you towards that direction. So get started moving in that direction and watch how things are eventually gonna happen for you. So these are great questions I ask myself. This is to remind myself of the life that I want. This is to remind myself of the entire reason why I need to keep pushing. This is to remind myself of the reason why I need to let go of that fear and live out my dreams and serve a meaningful purpose. So that's gonna be all for this episode. If you enjoyed listening to this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.